Hi, I'm Stuart and welcome to Sirennet Television. We're over here at H&W Pacific Emergency Vehicles Facility in Hillsboro, Oregon, and having a chat with Bob Lemieux, who is the Director of Ambulance Sales here at H&W Pacific, pertaining to a couple of ambulances. The first ambulance we're going to take a look at is a road rescue MetroMedic. So Bob, fill us in a little bit about this particular vehicle.
Okay, well this particular product line is considered for those that have budget struggles. You need to get a good quality product without the big price. This vehicle has a lot of the features of the top of the line units, but some of the content is a little bit less to keep the price in line with some of what the smaller departments can afford. This particular unit is on an F450 Ford chassis. It has a 153-inch long by 95-inch wide body, 72-inch interior headroom, and this is a standard compartment layout, and this is a very standard vehicle by our standards.
Now this is a Type 1 ambulance?
This is called considered a Type 1 ambulance. Anything with a cab and a chassis is considered a Type 1. Upgrades on this unit include an LED emergency lighting package, and it has an exclusive of Road Rescue and their sister company, what we call a cool bar. The cool bar is an exclusive that we mount an additional air conditioning condenser in to assist with the cooling on the hot days. It keeps it up from underneath the body where it's not subject to road debris. It makes it easier to cool the vehicle, keep the entire vehicle cool.
Right. Now again, obviously that pertains to the box. The cab area is not impacted by that.
The cab area is actually impacted because the system is tied into the OEM system, so everything is tied together, so everything works together.
Okay. So actually you would actually get a cooler both in the box and in the cab?
You would have more cooling, especially at low speeds.
Right. Than you would normally have.
And park than you would normally have.
So great for people operating in much warmer climates. The Pacific Northwest doesn't have a lot of 100-degree days, but definitely the Midwest and in other parts of the world have high temperatures as well. So let's take a look in the cabinetry area here. So you've got obviously an array of boxes that are going along the side here.
Yes, we have a standard main oxygen bottle storage in here. You'll notice that all of our compartments are sprayed with Scorpion liner, which is very similar. It's a pickup truck bed liner.
Okay.
So it's very durable. Our doors are constructed in such a manner that it allows for the door seal itself to be on the door to protect the compartment from dust and dirt, as opposed to the door seal being on the door jamb, where as you're pulling equipment in and out, you're going to get, decay of the door seal. And the second thing that's provided by having the door seal out here is when the door is closed, it protects the latching mechanism. It keeps all the road dirt and grime from getting into the latching mechanism, which causes maintenance problems. So it's a small thing, but a very critical thing to have the door sealed on the door. It's more of an automotive style, higher tech type of situation.
Right. And then in here, again, this is just general storage now?
It's a general storage compartment. It has a suction pump motor for the onboard suction. We have a pre-wire and space for an inverter that converts 12-volt power to 120-volt power, and just open storage.
As you move along here,
lighted compartments.
Right.
Same deal there.
And then again, depending how much equipment you have, plenty of storage. Obviously you have some brochures in here because you recently did a road trip.
Carrying some show things in here, and we have a shelf here. More shelves are available in the compartment. The top part of this compartment is accessible from the interior of the vehicle as well, for things that you may need from both sides of the vehicle, depending on the situation.
Okay. The vehicle has an air suspension system, which we'll take a look at in a minute, so you can actually drop the height of the body, because there's essentially an air blather, I guess is the correct term?
Yes, there are. The entire rear leaf spring part of the suspension has been removed and replaced with an airbag system like you might see on a large semi-truck. And it comes with some control arms, and at this point the vehicle's too high to load a gurney into with any kind of comfort. So to meet the requirements of the loading height from the federal statutes, we dump it down. It gets it down to about a 33-inch from the ground to the floor height when we exhaust the air.
And again, more storage compartments all along this side here, as you can clearly see here. And obviously these will be for boards.
Yes, we can store long backboards, a folding stretcher, short boards, peed boards and things like that go into that compartment. Another miscellaneous storage compartment here, smaller. People will put road flares, tire chains and things of that nature in the smaller compartments like that, just where they need to
do that,
to have all the things they need to have.
Great.
So.
Here, now we're going to go inside. Actually, one more compartment to show.
This is generally called the ALS compartment. Again, accessible from both the outside and the inside. Typically things like the trauma kits and the things that you're going to take on the first trip into a house or to an accident scene. If you have people riding inside, they have access to it, but jump out of the cab, grab a bag from here and go to the scene of where the work needs to be done. So a little bit of storage under the floor, and we try to make use of all the storage we can and, you know, get as much into a small space as humanly possible.
Right. Let's go ahead and drop the actual height of the ambulance as it's currently set, and your objective here is to get the stretcher or the gurney into the actual ambulance compartment. So you basically hit a switch and it drops down. Now the vehicle will not run, in other words not drive forward while it's in this position.
That is correct. The vehicle parking brake has to be set to allow this to happen. It's a safety issue that you don't want people driving off when it's
too
before
low.
the vehicle's ready to go.
Okay. So again, we're going to go inside now. We've dropped down the pressure. Let's step on inside. So Bob, as we step inside the ambulance compartment area, fill us in on the different compartments that are inside here and a little bit of brief information about the inside of the vehicle itself in general.
Okay. Well, you can see that over all the doors and near the ceiling is a lot of padding. You can see that the corners are rounded to avoid having any sharp edges in here that could do damage in the case that you have to stop quickly or something of that nature. You have provisions for hanging IV fluids. You have provisions for seating people either upright on the squad bench or by the use of a backboard, and they can be laid on the backboard and also strapped across for a second patient storage.
So I'm going to sit down here. So basically you can take this here and strap yourself in. This is kind of
you can buckle yourself onto the bench.
It's steward proofing it, you see. So
yes.
So you're locked in that way?
Locked in with a seat belt. And again, you can put a second patient here if you need be.
Right.
One of the items here at the head of the bench is a infectious waste area to, you can pop the dirty needles in there, the gloves, and the miscellaneous bandage waste or whatever you need, and that goes in there. And then when you need to clean that out and replace the containers, very simply lifts up and get them out without worried about sticking any needles into your hand, and you go from there. Above the side entry door over here, we have a place where you can put 3 glove boxes, and they can be put in and dispensed through the little holes here in the plex, in the Lexan. So you have some convenient storage for gloves where they're not rolling around on the ground. The heat and air conditioning comes out of this corner, and you know, pretty much a climate control system.
Right, so you can adjust it depending on how you want it to
You can adjust the louvers to a point to achieve where you need the air.
And then down here you have basically 2 seats for your paramedics, depending on how you want to set it up.
Head technician seat, and we have a side CPR seat here as well, which nobody really does CPR sitting down, but it allows for patient care from either side or both sides of a patient, particularly in a critical patient. While we're over here, the countertops are, we call them Avanite. It's most similar to Corian, which is a brand name that everybody's familiar with. It's all one-piece monolithic construction, so there's no danger of any kind of contamination here. It can just be cleaned up with bleach or whatever substance you use, and all of our countertops are that way.
Right. Also over here, I see you have the ability to gain access to the oxygen bottles.
Correct.
Or bottle, in this case.
Correct.
By going in there and adjusting the valve. I'll kind of sit down here real quick and lift that up if I can. I think it's actually
it allows you to access the main oxygen bottle.
You can see it there.
Turn it off and on.
Right.
From the
and then
inside.
obviously the feeds for that are coming out here anyway.
That's correct. Okay. And the main rear switch panel is located up here. Thermostat control for the rear heating and air conditioning. And then as we move rearward, you have our controls for the onboard suction unit. Okay. So that's the main control panel, and that's kind of where everything happens. We do have options. We can add an additional control panel. We can put this control panel on the other side of the vehicle should you care to do patient care more from that side.
Right.
It's all optional things that we have the capability of modifying the vehicle to suit the needs that you have as a department.
So Bob, basically we've had a chance to see this really interesting, but it's a pretty standard ambulance from Road Rescue.
Yes, very basic.
Again, you can configure this ambulance in this box configuration either as a Type 1. Could you make it a Type 3?
Yes, we can. We can make it a Type 3 by use of either a Ford E350 chassis or a General Motors Chevrolet, I believe they call it a G3500 chassis. Okay. So it is available as a Type 3.
Okay. Well, again, Bob, thank you very much for showing us around this particular ambulance.
Well, you're welcome.